Daesh has been almost totally defeated in Iraq and Syria, where it committed numerous atrocities against security forces and civilians alike. But there have been many questions surrounding the rise of the group and the possible role of governments in the region and beyond in strengthening the notorious terror group. A UK-based monitoring group holds the US party responsible for strengthening Daesh. Conflict Armament Research has found that arms provided by the US and Saudi Arabia to anti-Syria militant groups frequently ended up in the hands of Daesh terrorists. The organization said the weapons were either captured on the battlefield or gained through shifting alliances within the militant groups. The report added that in one case, a sophisticated missile the US had bought in Bulgaria ended up in Daesh's hands.
We've been given this picture in the West that there's some sort of spontaneous uprising from the streets in Syria in order to create a civil war. Actually, it's not. It's a proxy war, and it's mercenary armies. And the United States has made sure that the mercenary armies have got some of the very best equipment. And we're talking about, for example, sometimes anti-tank weapons.
Some observers claim the US deliberately allowed the arms to fall into the hands of the terror group.
Much of the weaponry that the United States has been supplying to their friends in Syria, who are effectively mercenary forces in Syria, we're talking about al-Nusra, the Free Syrian Army, actually some of the Kurdish forces as well, who want to steal some Syrian land, are finding their way into the hands of ISIS. And this isn't any surprise, because these various armies are actually trading armies. They are trading oil, some of them, they're trading all sorts of resources, they're also trading weapons, and they're making a profit on those trades. So they'll buy them for one price, sell them for a higher price.
The report by Conflict Armament Research also says more than a third of the arms used by Daesh in Iraq and Syria came from EU member states, including Germany. In its 200-page investigation, the weapons tracking organization said more than 30% of the arms used by Daesh terrorists on the battlefield in Syria and Iraq originally came from factories in Bulgaria, Romania, Hungary and Germany. The study by Conflict Armament Research is the result of 3 years of fieldwork in the two Arab nations.
Actually, what's been happening behind the scenes is different, because you have to remember that the European Union countries, most are in a military alliance with the United States called NATO. And actually NATO calls the shots in many ways. It's also based in Brussels, and they are aligned effectively with US foreign policy, not with European foreign policy. So what you've got really is words coming out of Brussels which soothe the mentality and the consciousness of the European people.
The US and its allies stand accused of hypocrisy regarding the issue of terrorism. Iran's Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif has criticized Washington over its arms deliveries to terrorists in Syria, saying the hypocrisy of the current US administration knows no bounds. Ironically, Daesh terrorists have carried out a number of terrorist attacks in Europe and the US after sneaking back into America and the continent from Syria and Iraq. The battle-hardened militants still pose a threat to the West, as it's highly difficult for Western countries' intelligence agencies to track them down.